Hi Scorpio, and welcome to your reading for December. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please join me here while I'm shuffling. Check in with your higher self and guides. Ask them to connect with my higher self and guides so that we can create a feedback loop to make sure that the messages that come through here today will be tailored for you. And if you take a moment to set up that dialogue, this can very much be a personal reading for you. Set aside any distractions or tasks that you have going on. Grab some headphones and a cup of tea and tune in. Bring all of your presence to this reading. I want to make sure that you make the most out of your time here with me. So let's take a look at the general energies available around this time. This is a very interesting spread, Scorpio. The bottom of the deck we have the Five of Pentacles upright. There's quite a few major arcana cards in this spread. You have the High Priestess at the foundation. The Hierophant is crossing. Strength in reverse in the Hopes and Fears quadrant. And then you have Death reversed and the Moon upright, reversed as well in the position of you right now, how you see yourself. So there's a lot of... And the Death card is actually your own card. And so can the Moon, actually. The Moon card is very watery, can also represent Scorpio. You see this creature kind of climbing out of the water here. It can be very scorpionic. So it would seem like this could be a very transformative time for you. I get the feeling like there's some recent changes that might have happened kind of quickly that may have been a little bit... what's the right word? Something sudden and transformative had maybe occurred recently that you may not have seen coming, that happened quickly, that may have caused you to have some changes in your relationships. If you're in a partnership or you've been in a partnership, there may have been a recent breakup that occurred without any warning for some of you. And for others, it may simply be some other kind of shifts that have occurred in your environment that, again, were sudden, unexpected, and caused a swift reorientation of your daily kind of patterns, daily living. For some of you, there may have been like a financial loss that came with that, or an energetic loss in some way, physical energetic loss, some kind of depleting energy, like energy going out, energy like leaving you. For others, it may have had an effect on your physical health, relating to an emotional experience that might have caused you to then, you know, have some, you know, changes in your physical well-being. You have the Strength in reverse as well. So these two cards together could suggest that whatever unexpected change that was, that might have had an impact on your physical wellness or your financial wellness. Let's see if I can get into this a little bit more deeper. Like these major arcana cards here at the bottom of the reading are really interesting. High Priestess, Death, and Moon. Very powerful, very transformative, very deep energies, very can be challenging, difficult things to deal with. Some really deep emotional stuff coming to the surface, old buried issues may be coming to the surface again in a different way through a different circumstance, but that situation that you're going through now, which may be challenging or difficult, is transformative in a way that helps you understand maybe a pattern that goes back to something deep, psychological and unconscious that's buried in the psyche, that's playing out here for you to realize what it is, for you to be able to alchemize it and heal it and release it. That's some of what's going on here. There is also here with this, at the heart of the reading, you have this Three of Wands upright, crossed by the Hierophant. So for some of you, this is sort of describing that at this time you may be needing to reorient or readjust your goals, or your like the outlet, the vision that you have may have had defined for you recently, or you know, over the last period of time, may need to shift and change, given that there are some external changes in your environment. Maybe the people that you've been working with are changing, or maybe the people you've been relating with are changing, the people you've been living with may be changing, the people you interact with, or the people that you may have been building some kind of collaborative project with is shifting. So you might be finding at this time you need to adjust and calibrate to a new pathway, a new vision or new landscape that you might be directing your energy towards, as your kind of your inner circle might be shifting at this time. Now, I want to talk about the Hierophant as the crossing card. It's in reverse. The Hierophant and the Priestess together are really interesting. So the High Priestess is talking about this card in this position of the reading describes what's in your unconscious mind and what is driving you at this time that you may not be aware of. And so the High Priestess in this position for me in this reading is kind of saying that there is something at this time, and especially because you have Death and the Moon both in the reading as well, in the position that's landing where you are, and Hierophant as a crossing card. So specifically, like looking at these particular major arcana cards in your reading, High Priestess is saying that your soul, your spirit, your higher self is really driving you at this time to reveal some specific element of a real deep truth that has been long buried in the psyche, in the deep unconscious mind. There's something that's being revealed, that's being brought to the surface, that is needing your awareness, needing your attention to generate a type of awakening about a specific thing that you may have been unaware of until this particular time. And that, you know, that's not necessarily easy work. It's very important work, and it's very catalyzing, very healing, and very transformative. After the fact, that you can look back at it and realize that that was such an incredible experience to have that level of awakening and understanding occur. But oftentimes when it's actually happening, can be quite painful and a little bit difficult to deal with, because there are things that you may have been very attached to, that may have been, you know, forces motivating you that you might be realizing now were kind of what's the right word? Skewed aspects of truth. Like they may not have been authentic. You may discover issues or patterns buried deep within you that are connected to areas where you may have been it's not forced, but what's the right word? You may have adopted certain types of behavior in the past to help you kind of survive or get through a difficult time, or cope, or manage emotions in a way that you didn't know any better how to do at the time, given your level of development. And so this is here showing that there can be some kind of an exhibition or a revelation or a release or an unveiling of certain kinds of things that you might have believed to be true, either about yourself or about life, or certain ways that you may have handled situations, or ways that you may have engaged in life in particular ways that didn't actually have a real solid foundation. And so there's this shake-up happening that is causing you to feel maybe a little bit depleted, but it's for a very specific purpose, which is to help you see that the foundation that you've been constructing your life on is very unstable, and it needs to be kind of leveled to the ground in a way to actually kind of reconstruct something that is really secure and stable and strong and solid, and can be sustained over time as you build this new options, new versions of life from this point on. So a little bit of disruptive energy, and certainly there could be some emotional challenges with that. Maybe there are people leaving your life that you've been really closely connected to and intertwined with. I'm holding this card forever, and I haven't even addressed it yet. So The Hierophant reverse in this position is kind of telling me that there is something, again, it can be related to either a partnership or contracts of some kind, either a soulmate relationship, business partnership, some kind of connection that's been very, very meaningful and important to you. Maybe shifting, and there may be like a break of contract, there could be a breach of contract, there could be an end of contract. Again, generating a catalyzation or a shift that you may not have expected or seen coming, but one that is actually like, sorry. It may be hard to grasp this now because in the experience of what's happening here, you may feel actually quite at a loss and perhaps even devastated in some ways. There might be some really painful emotions to deal with here, but what it says here is that you're being kind of spared in a certain way for something very difficult. Like it's a beneficial shedding that's happening here. Again, it doesn't seem like it at this time, but there is something protective happening. There is your soul's urge, your soul's desire to evolve, transform, alchemize, and evolve is shifting your vibration in a way that's making it impossible for certain types of energies to be able to resonate and relate with you. And that's kind of like, what is this shedding and falling away energy? So it's a beneficial energy. This experience is beneficial in a big way, in a long-term way, in a broader perspective. But at the time that it's happening right now, it may feel painful because you might be experiencing loss and grief and disappointment, or some kinds of like, you know, things being removed from your life can sometimes be painful because you may have like attachments or dependencies or bonds to those kinds of things. Okay. Let's see what else is in this reading. I feel like I've more or less covered everything. This Page of Wands in the crowning position of the reading in reverse is interesting, along with this Queen of Cups, 5 of Wands in reverse. So what I feel here is that on a certain level, like this High Priestess, Queen of Cups, kind of working together to help me see that, like, on a really deep level, you understand that maybe what's going on here is really important for you, and it's really beneficial, and it's a healing process that's happening. There's like a transition that's occurring that's helping you heal and release things that you may already be aware that you've outgrown, that are no longer serving you. And this Page of Wands and this 5 of Wands in reverse, both in reverse, is kind of saying here that you may feel, how should I say that? You may feel a little bit less than enthusiastic, you know, about what's happening right now, even if you know that it's good for you. You might be feeling challenged to kind of keep enduring something that's been difficult, something that is like, maybe this shift that's happening right now is something that's already been going on for a little while, and you kind of are ready for it to sort of be over and done with. For some of you, that's not for everyone. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, 5 of Pentacles, 2 of Wands in reverse, Temperance in reverse, and 7 of Wands upright. So this is kind of saying here that there's again a little bit of a nod here towards potentially there being some physical impact on your health and wellness, or also financially. There could be some depletion here. There could be like some loss or some, but also like emotional, this and this going together kind of feel like, yeah, you may feel like a little downtrodden, quite weary as a result of some shifts that are happening. 2 of Wands reverse, Temperance reverse, 7 of Wands here. It's kind of saying that like you may not actually be really ready right now to fully resolve and reconcile within yourself the changes that have occurred, but it's okay. Like, it's part of the process. You kind of just have to go through what you're going through. And I feel with this 7 of Wands here as the final card, this to me is saying that there's a real need here for you to have clear boundaries. Strength in reverse kind of also saying that. Like if there's a person that you're dealing with that you know you need to kind of disconnect from, or you know, create space between, I feel like these cards are saying that it's important for you to really delineate that boundary and stick to it. And actually, even if, like, I mean, what I feel here is that some of you actually, as much as you know that there's a person, that you specific person that you need to have space from, that you need to, like, you know, maybe extract some entanglement with, or, you know, remove yourself from what has been a very codependent, or intertwined in a maybe unhealthy way sort of relationship. But that feels a little bit challenging for some of you to kind of get freedom from, because there is that dependency is still there. Even if you're aware of it and you know you need to kind of move on and outgrow it, the dependency is still there. So there's this level of needing to really dig deep into the willpower of your own being, to actually overcome what you know is not good for you and move towards that which you know is healthier for you, even if that's really, really challenging. So having clear boundaries is important here. I feel like taking space, you know, as I said, some of you may need to actually move location, or block, quite frankly, even if it's just for a time being. I feel there's a need here for someone in particular who's watching this needs to really, like, state their area, claim their area, and take some space. Block a person, or don't respond to them. You know, it's better if you don't see their stuff. You know, don't look at their social media. Don't answer their messages. Stop them from being able to even send you messages, so you're not actually in that energy of it. All right, what else is here? I feel like that might be it for this general part of the reading, and we're going to move on and look at the higher octave spread with the Voyager deck. Just checking here. But these three cards are really interesting. The High Priestess, the Queen of Cups upright, and the Moon in reverse. These are all very much archetypally your cards. They can be. In fact, the Death actually is your card, Scorpio. So there's a lot of your own energy in this reading. A lot of your own energy in this reading. Like, you're showing up 4 times in your own spread. So I feel there's and with temperance and strength both in reverse, it feels to me like your guides really want to encourage you to tap into your own wellspring of power, of courage, of will, of determination, of authority, of understanding, of forgiveness, of wisdom. You know, look within yourself for all those things, because they exist there. And use your own connection to higher knowledge, higher understanding, wisdom, to actually really get you through whatever this is that you're going through at the moment. I feel like there's a need for you to really pull your energy back into yourself, because you may feel a little bit scattered, you may feel a little bit disoriented, you may feel, as I said, debilitated, physically unwell, or, you know, emotionally drained as a result of certain circumstances that you're dealing with right now. So it's important that you use your own energy to restore yourself, and the way to do that is to really, again, state your boundaries really clearly, claim that energy of your own space, pull your energy back into yourself. If you're going on and on with too much of distractions and fulfilling certain obligations socially that you may feel like you don't want to do, or you're kind of doing too much in life in general, in the world, it's a time here to kind of put a stop to what is excessive and what is unnecessary, what you may be doing that is just fulfilling obligations to other people, or things that you might be doing to kind of like either win certain attention from certain people or something like that. Like, you need to drop all of that stuff and just pull your energy back into yourself and nurture and consolidate your own self, and work with the resources that are within you to support yourself through this time. Some of you are running around too much. That's what I feel in this spread. Alright, let's take a look at the Voyager deck. Shuffle. Well, I'm going to shuffle this deck. Please join me again. Send your energy over so I can get really clear messages for you. We're going to look at any additional guidance from your higher self and guides that might reveal any forces that are at play that we might not be aware of, any blind spots that we need to see, and potentially receive some practical guidance from your guides and higher self as to how best to work with the energies that we're dealing with to make the most out of the lessons that are on the table. So let's take a look. Wheel of Fortune reversed. Crossed by 5 of Wands, so you have that here. 4 of Cups. 3 of Pentacles reversed. 9 of Crystals reversed. 7 of Cups. Queen of Wands reversed. Temperance reversed, same card. 4 of Pentacles reversed, you had that here. Moon reverse, so quite a few repeating cards. Magician upright. 2 of Pentacles, Sun, and 9 of Cups. Great. So, what I have here is that there is a turn of events happening right now. There is a shift in your circumstances, in your situation. And it may seem like it's unlucky or it's unfortunate or something like not good or not beneficial, but actually this is just part of your healing journey that you're on. And there is some important things that you need to address that you may not have been aware of, or you may have been aware of and have been kind of dismissing or disregarding. And that has to do with, again, your boundaries, your sense of self-worth, all the same issues. Basically, it's always the same issues. It's always around these things around self-love, self-worth. But in particular, there is like, for you right now, there is this energy here that's describing how you may be, have in the past connected with others in collaborative ways that was maybe kind of, how do I describe that? Like disrespectful to the self or demeaning to the self in some ways. You know, what it's saying here is that there's a need right now for you to really address what you need and what you want, and get how to get that for yourself without necessarily having to, you know, utilize the resources of others or working kind of in a way with other people, but like kind of how to be a little bit more independent and more self-directed, self-satisfying, self-oriented. Like there's something here to understand about your own magic and how to channel your own energy into things that are meaningful to you in ways that are really clean and clear. Like there's some, for some of you, I'm feeling like this energy here where there's like the most subtlest kind of manipulation where you may be, you may not even be aware of it, that you have been doing it that way. I'm not judging, I'm just describing what I see here, is that you may be kind of misusing your energy in a certain way. Some of you may be misusing your sexual energy in a certain way to get certain behavior from people that you want. That's something that's being spoken of in here. And there's a need to kind of address that which you have long outgrown and shift into a new way of operating that is much more in alignment with the person that you've evolved into, or establishing a new protocol for your own energy so that you can move into that space of the person that you're growing into and overcome some kind of outdated old behavior that is not really in alignment with your authentic self. So shifting gears. The bottom of the deck we have Sage of Pentacles reversed, Ace of Pentacles upright, 5 of Cups, and 5 of Pentacles. That's interesting. 3 5s in your reading. So what I'm taking away from these extension cards as an add-on to the rest of this reading is that you're being tested here in how you are able to operate in the physical realm. Like this Sage of Pentacles in reverse is saying you're being offered here the chance to kind of level up or upgrade your operating system for how you interact in the physical reality, and how you just simply how you operate in this physical dimension, how you utilize your physical, mental, emotional energy, and in particular the divine feminine energy. That was coming through really strong in the previous reading. How you channel your, and it doesn't matter about what your gender is, I'm talking about how you channel your divine feminine energy into situations, circumstances, people, places, things, to be able to sort of ever so subtly manipulate reality to get what you want. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but there is something here about needing to adjust and reformulate how you do that, so that it's much more in integrity and in alignment with your authentic self, with your true north. And for some of you, there's some like pain and sorrow and disappointment and loss to overcome, as far as like maybe you have been called out by someone in your environment, in your reality, that maybe is like telling you what I'm telling you now, but in a way that maybe makes you realize like you weren't aware of it before, or if you were aware of it before, maybe you thought nobody else noticed, and you thought maybe you were kind of able to get away with like behaving in a way that is maybe lacking in a little bit of integrity. Temperance and Sun is here together in this reading, and you had Temperance. Temperance was in the previous reading here. There it is. I thought you had Sun as well. Yeah, there's Temperance in reverse. So there's something here about like reconciling and forgiving, but I feel like it's more about for you. For some of you, what I'm describing here is maybe something you haven't become aware of yet. Maybe you haven't been aware of it yet, and this reading is bringing it to your awareness. For some of you, you may have known about it, and maybe some of what this loss and disappointment and sadness here with these 3 5s is that potentially a partner or a lover or some kind of person that you've been intimately involved with, either in business or in life in some way, may have called you out on this and may have pulled away from you because they kind of realized that this kind of interaction was going on, and they didn't want to continue playing into that any longer. And so you might be feeling a loss of someone that you cared about greatly, who identified a certain behavioral pattern of yours and has like withdrawn from you because of it. So you might be feeling the pain of that, like judgment maybe, or maybe you're feeling like the pain of self-sabotage in a certain way in your current experience. But it doesn't have to be painful for a long time. You may mourn a loss, you may feel sadness right now, you may feel rejection or judgment or any of those things. But what's important is what you do with this next. So there is an ability here for you to resolve a lot of things from the past, from old patterns, and you don't have to spend a lot of time digging deep. You just have to understand where you are now and what has been your unconscious motivations until this point. And with all this information coming to light, you can, with the power of Moon, and Moon is twice in your reading in reverse. This is saying that you have the opportunity here, if you can be really ruthlessly honest, using the High Priestess energy, come out of this time with a huge amount of clarity and understanding, and how now to work with magic in this way, in a more upright way, with integrity, without manipulation, with truth, with real power, with real authority, and not in a way that is kind of twisting and manipulating energy for you to get what you want through another person, but by really channeling cosmic divine energy in from the universe in the most purest way, in the most amazing way, in the most with real talent that enables you to create and manifest much greater than you can if you sort of try to get energy from other people in this plane. You understand what I'm saying? I hope that's clear. I feel like that's it for your reading, Scorpio. I'm just going to check over here. There is a big potential here for you to realize that you can actually achieve more by doing less. That's what this is. You can achieve more by doing less. So overcoming these old patterns and habits and behaviors of how you've been able to manifest and achieve what you've done until this point, completely switching up your MO to be much more clean and pure, and transmuting, alchemizing, and shedding old ways of being and doing things is going to bring you greater fulfillment, greater power, greater strength, creativity, and less entanglement, less dependencies, less unhealthy engagements and interactions with other people who may have been also operating on that same wavelength with you in the past. This is clean energy, free energy, cosmic energy being channeled through you, rather than trying to kind of like get from down here, right? Hope that's clear. Scorpio, that's your reading for this month. Thank you so much for watching. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. I hope you found some things in there that you can work with. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. I will see you in the next reading.